I know that you're a meat eater, and
Yes,
I'm
I
a
am.
meat eater. I mean, I love a good steak.
Yeah.
But imagine being a plant and being a meat eater. Just saying, you know what? I'm so gorgeous, but I'm going to trap that bug.
And I'm going to eat it up good.
Yep. So that's what we're talking about. I'm Cindy Dole.
And I'm Eric Strom.
You
It reminds
listen-
me of, remember Little Shop of Horrors?
It totally
Doesn't
is.
it remind you of that?
Yeah, this is Home Wizards, and you might have. I've noticed these carnivorous plants that are being sold, like in the grocery stores, in the nurseries, and it's almost like it's this new craze. It's a fun thing for kids to try too, because it's a project. And as you're watching this very exotic, very Jurassic Park-like plants, they have kind of a blend of like this an orchid mixed with some kind of a weird cacti that has teeth. And so imagine these different varieties, and they're going to eat the bugs in your house.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And they entice them, and they
entice
land,
them.
and then bam, they're gone.
Yeah, and so basically they are carnivores, and they use these little tricks, these to trap the insects. There's one called the bladderwort, for example, and they'll appear really small and delicate, growing in a little quiet pond, but then out of the blue, it'll suck in this unsuspecting mosquito larva, actually, about in a 1/50th of a second, using this trap
so
door.
it operates fast.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's all different kinds of carnivorous plants, but thought we would kind of walk you through something kind of cool. I want to try this as a new hobby. I mean, they have like these little hair growths, along the walls of the plant, and they come in really vibrant green, and the flowers are really exotic. I mean, some of them do look like orchids.
And so I would assume the exposures of these would, light exposures, sort of like shady, partial sun, partial shade.
Indirect,
kind of thing.
yeah. But these,
indirect, right?
But these are actually house plants. You know what I mean? That you can have, growing as a kid or as a kid of all ages, kind of introduce them to gardening, And for even the budding scientist, it's kind of fun to see how plants, will train their own powers, to cope in the world, right? But the most famous one is known as the Venus flytrap.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's beautiful looking. I mean, it has like these little hinged traps, with these little hairs coming out in bright green and pink and yellow and purple. I mean, it really is gorgeous looking. But the way it works is that it sends off this sweet nectar, and a fly will actually fly into the trap.
And then does the fly get sucked into it, or is there poison coming out of the plant?
Well, so basically within 20 seconds, one hair touches this fly, and it stimulates the lobes of the trap, and then it will snap shut. And
Trapping the fly.
And the fly is gone. It
Bye-bye.
sounds kind of cruel, because if the insect can't escape, then what happens is it'll continue to stimulate the inner surface of the plant itself, and then it closes the trap tighter.
Just crushes the fly.
See,
I have no mercy for the
I know,
fly.
I know.
I don't like an insect that throws up and then
True.
flies away.
I know, they get on your food. I know.
No, not
but
okay with
it
me.
is kind of this miracle of nature, these these carnivorous plants, and you'll see them out and about, and you can find them and then take care of them. You can even make your own little, like a terrarium or a little like mini globe.
I wonder if it would probably cut down the, in the summertime, obviously the flies are at their height.
Mm-hmm.
What if you had a bunch of these in the house? I wonder if it would,
I think
are they attracted to them? I mean, do they?
Yes.
They don't randomly show up. They are attracted to these flowers.
It's the nectar on this particular, because it can smell. Flies can smell.
Sure.
And so the Venus flytrap will send off this really yummy kind of a fruity nectar to a spider or to a fly, and all it has to do is just touch the little teeny tiny hairs on the inner surface of its little leaves, and it's done. Now there's another one that's really kind of interesting. It looks like it's an orchid. It's called a pitcher plant. And you may have seen this around. You might have seen it online, or you might have seen it in some of the higher end nursery centers, because it's very exotic. But picture, it looks almost like a pitcher. You know what I mean? Like it has this kind of tubular thing. And this pitcher plant, it's striking because it comes in like a neon green with like a burgundy and yellow colors all combined. And the different methods have different strategies to form the pitcher, but they all have leaves shaped like these deep cavities that are filled with a liquid. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Wow. Now listen, these are like $5 on Amazon. You You can order them from
I
Amazon.
think you should get some.
I'm getting them.
Yeah.
Look at that. Here's one for $14.95, 5-star. It eats flies like crazy, it says.
And which kind is that? Is that a Venus
That's the
flytrap?
Venus flytrap, 3-inch pot.
Okay. I think you ought to get a couple of
gotta
those.
get these.
See, it's kind of fun. But they do have them a lot of the hardware and big box stores. You might see
They're
a
actually
small.
kind of pretty too.
They're
I think.
very pretty. They are very pretty. So keep in mind you want to try the pitcher plant
Yeah.
as well as the Venus flytrap, and the pitcher plant again. These will. The insect is forced to fall.
Are you saying like a pitcher, like you're pouring something out of a pitcher?
Well,
how do you spell it?
Yeah, like a pitcher. Yeah,
Okay.
because what it does is this plant has its own constant pool of liquid, and it draws the insects into the cavity with this sweet smell, and the insects drown in the fluid that this pitcher plant creates on its own.
You get one for $17.99 on Amazon right now.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, they're gorgeous. I mean, and they'll grow in a mixture of kind of moss and
Beautiful.
part
They're
sand.
variegated.
And by the way, they like indirect sunlight, so it's perfect, for like a little windowsill in your kitchen. You know what I mean?
Oh, this is great.
So it's going to keep these bugs from getting your food and getting in your house. Another really cool one is called sundews. And this, again, is another carnivorous plant, and it has a sweet smell to insects.
Yeah.
And the bugs get trapped right inside like fly paper because they have like this stickiness. Again, it's called a sundew. So imagine like this really vibrant magenta to red flower, but it has little gooey, almost like glue droplets all around each leaf. And so as it's emitting this nice fragrance, the insect gets trapped to that like a fly paper.
Now, is that sun D-E-W?
D-E-W, sundew.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's become really popular as an ornamental plant because of the fascinating look of it. And it almost glistens because of how it wants to, send off this dew. So take a look. Have you found that online?
$7.
Okay.
Amazon.
So you can get that and have that also. It grows in a little bit of moss and sand. And
wait. And there's also a 9 West Women's Sundew Ballet flat for just $51. Anyway, I'm sorry. I digress.
Well, it's all about the shoes
Yeah.
while you're taking care of your carnivorous
that's
plants.
Right.
And another one you want to consider is called butterwort. Butterwort. And this one has a magenta flower, and it looks a lot like an orchid. And it's a great plant for kids and beginners because they're relatively easy to grow. And they require a little care for their feeding, except every other week. They're grown again, and so a lot of these, they don't grow in regular soil. Imagine them almost like in a forest, right? So with a little bit of the moss and just some sand. And they need to be almost constantly moist or wet. You know what I mean? So unlike other carnivorous plants that require kind of a sunny location, the butterwort likes part sun or even a shade. So you could do this inside your house, or if you have a shady part in your yard.
That's really it's unusual. They remind me of succulents in a strange way, and they're beautiful.
Because that kind of a fleshy
and unusual,
look,
and
the
don't,
colors.
Yeah.
Without any, well, some have flowers and some are just with the leaves themselves. Right, they're gorgeous, like you say, like an agave or some of these other succulents that have the golds and the reds and the silvers. So
I'm gonna do an experiment and get about 4 or 5 of these things in my house and see if the fly population is lessened this summer.
I think you should try it out. And by the way, you can not only, when you're really into this, there is a carnivorous plant society. You might get so into it. It's the International Carnivorous Plant Society, so check out their website at carnivousplants.org.
All right, good.
Thanks for hanging with us. Eric Stormer, Cindy Dole. You can always check us out at yourhomewizards.com. Until next time, remember this, the key is under the mat. Bye-bye.
I'll light the fire while you place the flowers in the vase that you bought.